People always ask me why I speak so calmly when I tell this story. They think shock should sound loud. They think survival should come with shouting. But when you almost die because the man you married wanted your kidney, your voice doesn't rise. It settles. I am Amara Ahmed. I am 25 years old. I live in Lekki Phase 1. And I survived a marriage that was never meant to last longer than my organs. This is not a warning from elders. This is not a rumor. This is not a story I heard. This is what happened to me. Lekki is a place where evil wears perfume, where men drink wine that costs more than your monthly rent, and still bargain for your body in private, where women post wedding photos in silk robes and disappear quietly a year later. If you don't live here, you won't understand how easy it is to hide a crime behind glass buildings, gym memberships, and prayer emojis. I moved to Lekki at 23. New job, new apartment, new version of myself. I worked as a digital brand strategist for a fintech startup on Admiralty Way. My life was structured: gym in the morning, traffic, meetings, oat milk lattes, late nights, skincare routines, soft life dreams. I dressed well. Zara, Mango, Shine deliveries every week. Hair always laid. Nails neutral. I didn't look desperate for love. That's why he chose me. It was a Friday night at Sky Lounge, VI. One of those rooftop spots where Lagos pretends to breathe. I wore a fitted black mini dress, strappy heels, gold hoops, gloss lips. I wasn't trying to impress anyone. Kabir noticed that. He sat 2 tables away. I remember because he didn't rush. He didn't wave. He didn't stare like other men. He watched. When he finally walked over, he smiled politely, like someone approaching a business deal. "Good evening. I hope I'm not disturbing." That was his first sentence. No pet names. No flirting nonsense. Just calm. Kabir was tall, neat, bearded, with a clean low haircut. He smelled expensive, not loud cologne, just subtle. We talked about work. He said he handled medical logistics and procurement, importing equipment, managing private hospital contracts. I didn't understand much. I didn't need to. He asked for my number. I gave it. That was the moment my life quietly split in two. Kabir called the next morning. Not text. Call. By the end of the first week, he knew my schedule. He remembered my coffee order. He asked about my parents. By the 3rd week, I don't date casually, Amara. By the 2nd month, I'm intentional about marriage. Lekki men usually lie with speed. Kabir told the truth with patience. That's what confused me. He wasn't flashy. No club hopping. No Instagram noise. He wore fitted trousers, button-down shirts, leather shoes, drove a clean Camry, paid attention to detail. When my friends met him, they said, "This one is different." They were right. He was different. Kabir asked about my health very early, not casually, precisely. Blood type, family medical history, previous surgeries. I laughed it off. "Dr. Nee," I joked. He smiled. Just being thorough. I thought it was care. It wasn't. My mother liked him. That mattered. In Nigerian homes, once your mother smiles at a man, your doubts start feeling rebellious. Kabir prayed. He respected elders. He spoke calmly. Within 6 months, he proposed. Small ring, private dinner, no drama. I said yes. I didn't know I was signing a timeline. If I had known that Kabir had already buried 2 wives before me, if I had known my wedding date aligned perfectly with a medical schedule, if I had known love was just the longest con, I would have run that night. But Lekki teaches women to trust polish, and I trusted it. When people say marriage changes people, they never explain how quietly it happens. Not with shouting, not with violence, but with small permissions you give away without noticing. By the time you realize something is wrong, you've already adjusted your life around it. Kabir proposed exactly 6 months after we started dating. Not 5, not 7, 6. It happened on a Sunday evening at a private dining space in Lekki Phase 1. No photographers, no violinists, just a candlelit table, soft jazz, and a ring placed gently between us like a document awaiting signature. "I don't believe in wasting time," he said. "When you know, you know." The ring was simple, gold band, small diamond, tasteful, no excess. I remember thinking, this man is serious. What I didn't realize was that seriousness doesn't always mean sincerity. Sometimes it means precision. My mother met Kabir 2 weeks later. She liked him immediately. He greeted properly. He spoke respectfully. He didn't raise his voice. He prayed before meals. For Nigerian mothers, that's already 70% of the checklist. He said he wanted a quiet wedding. No village noise. No unnecessary drama. Registry first, small reception after. I didn't argue. I liked that he wasn't flashy. In Lekki, flashiness often hides foolishness. Kabir hid something else. Our wedding was exactly what elite Lagos weddings look like when they want to appear simple, but still expensive. Registry wedding in Ikoyi. White walls, glass doors, soft music. I wore a fitted ivory gown, off-shoulder, nothing traditional. My hair was bone straight, center part, makeup clean, glowy. Kabir wore a tailored gray suit, calm, smiling politely, not emotional. That should have bothered me. Most men are nervous on their wedding day. Kabir looked relieved. At the reception, people toasted us with champagne. Friends took pictures. My phone buzzed endlessly with congratulations. I felt chosen. I didn't know I was selected. Living with Kabir felt organized. Everything had structure. Wake-up times, meal times, gym schedules, doctor appointments. He didn't like surprises. If I suggested a spontaneous weekend trip, he'd say, "Let's plan it properly." If I wanted to visit friends last minute, "Give me notice next time." He wasn't aggressive. He wasn't loud. He was firm. And firmness can feel like leadership if you're not careful. Kabir kept a folder, a physical folder. Inside were documents, our marriage certificate, my ID copies, medical receipts. When I joked about it, he smiled. Organization is peace. I believed him. About 4 months into the marriage, my energy dropped. Not suddenly, gradually. I started waking up tired. My workouts became harder. I felt nauseous in the mornings. Kabir noticed before I complained. "You look pale," he said one morning. "Let's do tests." I laughed. "It's probably stress." "No," he said gently. "Let's be sure." He took me to a private hospital in Lekki, not the one closest to our house. When I asked why, he said, "They're more discreet." That word, discreet, stayed with me. Doctors ran tests, blood samples, scans. They said things like, "Everything looks mostly fine. Let's monitor." Kabir didn't look relieved. He looked disappointed. That scared me. Kabir asked detailed questions. Too detailed. What's her blood type? How compatible is she generally? Would surgery be risky? Doctors answered cautiously. I watched him carefully. This wasn't concern. This was evaluation. Kabir changed my diet. Less salt, more water, no alcohol. He reminded me to take supplements. He tracked my cycles. I thought he was being supportive. In truth, he was preserving an asset. One evening, while he was on the phone in the bedroom, I overheard him say, "She's similar to Zainab. Younger though." I froze. Zainab. I didn't know any Zainab. When I asked later, casually, he said, "Just someone from work." He didn't look nervous. He looked practiced. In Lekki, we're taught to be grateful. Grateful for men who provide. Grateful for stability. Grateful for peace. We call fear overthinking. So when my instincts whispered that something was wrong, I silenced them. I told myself, marriage requires adjustment. Not every love is loud. Maybe this is maturity. I was wrong. One night, after another hospital visit, Kabir locked our bedroom door. We didn't usually lock it. "I just want us safe," he said. I nodded. That was the night I dreamt I was lying on an operating table, unable to scream. I woke up sweating. Kabir was awake, watching me. If I had known that every hospital visit was a step closer to surgery, if I had known that monitoring was just preparation, if I had known my marriage was already on a medical timeline, I would have stopped smiling. But at that point, I still believed I was a wife. I didn't know I was a donor. There is a moment in every woman's life when she realizes her body is no longer something she owns, but something other people discuss. That moment came for me on a Wednesday afternoon in a cold consulting room in Lekki. By the 5th month of marriage, hospital visits became normal. Too normal. Kabir scheduled them the way people schedule meetings: precise, non-negotiable. Tuesday by 10, Thursday morning. Don't eat before. Doctors changed. Labs changed. But the pattern stayed the same. Blood work, urine tests, scans. Always scans. I started feeling weaker. My skin lost its glow. My gym sessions stopped. My appetite disappeared. Friends noticed. "Amara, you don't look like yourself." Kabir always answered for me. "She's just adjusting to married life." There was one doctor in particular, Dr. Fashla. Middle-aged, calm, polite, always avoided eye contact with me. He spoke to Kabir. "Her levels are stable. We'll observe. She's compatible." Compatible? With what? I asked questions. He deflected. Kabir squeezed my hand. "Don't worry. You're safe." Safe people don't need reassurance repeated like that. One afternoon, a nurse handed me documents. Medical consent forms. "Routine," they said. Kabir stood beside me. "You trust me, right?" he asked casually. I signed. That was the day my hand betrayed me. Kabir didn't forbid me from seeing friends. He made it inconvenient. He complained I got tired after outings. He said traffic stressed my body. He reminded me doctors said I needed rest. Soon, it was easier to stay home. My world shrank too. The apartment, the hospital, Kabir. That's how cages are built in Lekki. Glass walls, soft voices. One evening, I fainted in the bathroom. I woke up on the bed. Kabir wasn't panicking. He was calm. Too calm. "I told you we need to speed things up," he said into his phone. Speed what up? When he noticed I was awake, he smiled. "Just talking to work." I didn't believe him. A week later, Kabir left his phone in the living room. It buzzed. I wasn't the type to check phones. But intuition is louder than manners. The message preview read, "She's ready. Same blood type as Zainab." My chest tightened. Zainab again. I opened the message. I wish I hadn't. Kabir's phone wasn't locked. Inside his email were folders. Medical folders. Women's names. Dates. Hospitals. Procedures. Some names were marked completed. Some were marked delayed. One was marked complications deceased. Zainab Sul, married, age 24, cause of death, postoperative failure. I screamed, not out loud. Inside, I sat on the floor shaking. Kabir married women, not for love, for matching organs, for kidneys, for money. I wasn't sick by accident. I was being prepared and I searched online. Marriage registries, old tagged photos. Zainab existed. Another woman Maryam, another Lydia. Different religions, different styles. Same outcome, quiet weddings, sudden illness, private hospitals, death. No police noise. Families told it was God's will. I pretended to sleep. Kabir was on the phone. Yes, she signed everything. No, she doesn't suspect. Surgery next month. My heart pounded. He continued. She's a good match. Strong kidneys. I bit my pillow to stop myself from screaming. Fear isn't panic. Fear is silence. Fear is smiling while planning escape. Fear is pretending to be sick so they don't rush you. Fear is realizing your husband knows your blood better than your birthday. I didn't confront him. Confrontation gets women killed. I started collecting evidence. Quietly. Files. Messages. Emails. I recorded calls. I saved everything. And I waited. That night, as Kabir slept beside me, his hand resting lightly on my waist, I realized something terrifying. I wasn't his wife. I was inventory, and inventory doesn't need to survive. Once a date is chosen for your destruction, everything around you starts acting like it already happened. That's the part nobody tells you. People begin to speak to you like someone who is leaving. Plans are shortened. Voices soften. Eyes avoid yours. I noticed it before I even knew the exact day. Kabir told me on a Sunday morning. We were eating breakfast avocado toast, boiled eggs, green tea. He had changed my diet completely by then. No oil, no alcohol, no junk. You've been approved for a minor procedure, he said casually, like he was telling me about a work meeting. I looked up slowly. Procedure? Yes, it will help stabilize your condition. What condition? I asked. He smiled. Your kidney values are fluctuating. This will help you long term. The word kidney landed hard. I forced my voice to stay calm. When next month, that was it. My death had a calendar reminder. Kabir became unusually kind. He bought me flowers, ordered my favorite food, still approved, of course, told me to rest more. People think cruelty always looks harsh. Sometimes it looks like care. A week later, he brought home documents. He placed them neatly on the table. Just routine hospital paperwork. He said, I already filled most of it. Just sign. I scanned the papers. Medical consent. Authorization. Surgical approval. My name was already typed. My signature space was highlighted. My hand shook. What exactly am I consenting to? I asked. Kabir didn't hesitate. A corrective kidney procedure. Nothing major. He looked me straight in the eye. That was when I knew he had practiced lying. I signed again, because resistance to early would expose me at the hospital. During one of my final tests, a nurse Ifanania, paused while checking my chart. She frowned. Then she looked at me, then at Kabir, then back at me. Her hand lingered on the file. Later, while Kabir stepped out to take a call, she leaned close and whispered, Madam, do you know why you're really here? My heart stopped. I shook my head slightly. She swallowed. You are very healthy. That was the first time anyone said it. Later that day, She found me alone in the restroom area. She spoke quickly. Your file doesn't match the procedure they described to you. My throat went dry. What do you mean? She hesitated. Your kidney is listed as donor quality. The word donor echoed. I held onto the sink. She looked scared. I shouldn't be telling you this. I grabbed her wrist. Please. I need to know. She leaned closer. This isn't the first time. She told me quietly. Married women. Private procedures. Husbands handling paperwork. Women who never came back for follow-ups. Some of us tried to ask questions, she said. We were transferred. Threatened. I asked the question my mouth was afraid to form. Did they die? She didn't answer. Silence was enough. Kabir had connections. Doctors on payroll. Admin staff paid. Security bought. He knew which hospitals asked fewer questions. Lekki hospitals don't like scandal. Silence is expensive here. The surgery was scheduled for a Friday morning. Thursday night, Kabir cooked dinner himself. He never cooked. We ate quietly. After, he held my hands. You'll be fine, he said. His hands were steady. Mine were cold. I watched him sleep that night. I wondered how many women had slept beside him not knowing it was their last night. I couldn't just run. Running women are traced. Instead, I did something dangerous. I collapsed. At 4 a.m., I screamed in pain. Kabir panicked just a little. Enough. He rushed me to the hospital early. In the chaos, Nurse Ifanania found me again. I whispered, I know. She nodded once. That was our agreement. While Kabir argued with the doctor about delays, Nurse Ifanania wheeled me through a side corridor. I was wearing a hospital gown. No phone, no purse, just my body. She handed me a nurse uniform. Change, she whispered. I did. I walked out of that hospital like I belonged there. Kabir never saw me again. By the time Kabir realized I was gone, I was already in another city, holding evidence that could burn him alive. But escape doesn't end the story. It only starts the war. People think escape feels like relief. It doesn't. Escape feels like standing in the middle of a road, shaking, realizing the car missed you, but you can still hear the engine behind you. I didn't go to my mother. That would have been the first place Kabir checked. I didn't go to my friends. Phones are easy to trace. I went to Ibadan, to a woman my aunt once helped years ago. A quiet compound. No questions. No Instagram. No noise. For 2 weeks, I slept on a mattress on the floor. Every sound made my heart jump. I replayed everything in my head. What if I imagined it? What if I was wrong? What if I destroyed my own marriage for fear? Then I opened the files again. Names don't lie. I went through everything slowly. Hospital transfers, payment receipts, emails between Kabir and brokers, medical buyers abroad. Kidneys don't disappear into thin air. They are sold. Each woman had a value, some cheaper, some more premium. I cried when I saw how casually my life was priced. I contacted Tomiwa, a journalist I once worked with on a brand campaign. I didn't tell him everything at first. I sent documents. He called me back silent. Amara, he said carefully, this is big. Big meant dangerous. But I was already in danger. Once the story reached authorities, everything moved fast and slow at the same time. Kabir tried to disappear. He booked a flight. He cleared accounts. But he made one mistake. He went back to the hospital. Predators always return to familiar ground. He was arrested quietly. No headlines at first, just cuffs. During the investigation, I learned the full list. 6 women, 6 marriages, 6 kidneys, only to survive surgery. Both disappeared into silence. Families were paid off. Doctors were bribed. Death certificates were softened. Complications. Unknown causes. God's will. I was the only one who escaped before surgery. That truth still keeps me awake. I saw him once after everything, in a police hallway. He looked smaller, older, not remorseful, just irritated, like a plan interrupted. He didn't apologize. He just said, "You ruined everything." That's when I knew he would do it again if he could. When the news finally broke, Lekki reacted the way it always does. Shock, gossip, silence. People unfollowed him, deleted wedding photos, acted like they never toasted us. No protests, no outrage, just quiet fear, because too many people had benefited from silence. I tell it because love doesn't always arrive violently. Sometimes it arrives polished. I tell it because women are taught to endure things that should alarm them. I tell it because marriage is still treated as protection when sometimes it's access. If a man rushes marriage, controls your medical care, knows your blood better than your soul, handles paperwork for you, keeps you tired, isolated, grateful, that isn't love. That is preparation. People still ask me if I'm afraid to fall in love again. I tell them the truth. I'm not afraid of men. I'm afraid of being chosen for the wrong reason. Because sometimes the most dangerous thing a woman can do in a city like Lekki is say I do without knowing what she's agreeing to give up. My name is Amara Ahmed. I survived a man who married women for their kidneys. Others didn't. And if this story stays with you tonight, good. It's supposed to.